Good morning, you wonderful people. Today we're gonna build on the Viking hooks we made earlier and make a herb hanger. Here I start out with 4 pieces of 6mm square, about 28 centimeters long, and I mark off from one end at 3 centimeters and then at 20 centimeters again. If you want to go for some extra style points, you can twist these bars, and if you do, I personally recommend that you twist them in pairs of 2 in opposite directions and give them a good 12 turns, which is 3 full rotations if you count it that way. This here bit is pretty much exactly like the Viking hooks we made earlier. Just match up the opposite twists and hold them steadily into tongs while you set the initial forge weld. I really prefer to hold them just for the first heat of the forge weld, just to make them stick. And then after that I release the tongs so I don't overheat them accidentally. Stick the forge weld, get over to the anvil, draw it out a little bit, and then repeat for a second pair. You want these to match up in a reasonable degree, just to make the whole forge welding the bundles together a bit easier. Now, just rinse and repeat from the first step. It's a bit more tricky to balance all of these pieces together, but if you get one solid grip where they line up and then just gently tack them together, you'll help yourself out a whole lot. After that, go back to the anvil, give them a good forge welding heat and start drawing it out gently. You don't want to be too aggressive because we want to hold this by the recently forged area anyway. This bit here might be the trickiest part of the whole build because you want to get a forge weld on the middle of these bars without accidentally burning anything off and without accidentally forge welding the ends together. Just take your time, do as the first step, just gently tack them together till you have one solid mass, then bring it over to the anvil and forge that weld solid. Then bend all of the tines out of the way and start drawing them out till they have about a length of 10 centimeters or thereabout. In other words, be careful with that forge weld. If it gets too big, you'll struggle to draw out the full length. After you've drawn the tines out to whatever full length you wish for, I suggest rounding them over to get a wee bit of extra style points, but after that, it's all a matter of bending them into shape. And because I'm a lazy bastard, I cheat and use a piece of pipe that I welded a squared block to. But, you do you. Take your time, one by one, and there's no reason to hurry here. But when you've bent them close, I go back to the horn of the anvil and I open them up a bit. So what used to be a closed circle now looks sort of open. Then it's all a matter of squaring it up and making room for the tongs to fit in between the tines so we can finish this build. When it comes to drawing out the hook bit for the top, I really recommend that you start out and really forge a lot of this at the forge welding heat, simply because we're doing so much movement of the material and it would be a bad day to start splitting it at this point, especially considering, you're proud at this point, right? But anyway, I draw it out till I have about 10 centimeters length from where the twists end, and then round it over and cheat again, and then just close off the loop. Nothing too tricky. It's a bit more of an intermediate project, but I'm sure you'll get there. If you like what you see here so far and you want access to the plans and projects with all of the good measurements, then head over to my Patreon page and you'll find it all goodness over there. And until next time, thank you all so much for watching. Cheers!